Hello everyone, in today's video we'll discuss the 2019 prelims questions which was asked from the subject geography. So let's take a look at the first question. Recently, scientists observed the merger of giant black holes billions of light years away from the Earth. What is the significance of this observation? And this topic, like the black holes, gravitational waves, they were predicted throughout test series as well as through the current classroom sessions. So in previous year also, like UPSC asked a question regarding the gravitational waves, right? So the gravitational waves, which is a very important discovery in this century, like it was discovered in 2016 when two black holes spiraled and collided with each other, right? So here clearly the answer comes out as answer B, gravitational waves were detected. So here there is one another confusing option, like the option D. It enabled the scientists to understand singularity, right? Singularity is a concept which is related with the black hole. The center of that black hole is called as singularity, right? But here specifically the observation regarding the merger of giant black holes, right, which is actually related with the gravitational waves. So I already told you this topic was predicted through our test series, like this is one of the questions which was asked regarding the gravitational waves. Here we are having like the coalescing neutron stars, and the explanation which is given here is actually taken from our the Earth and Universe module 1 itself. So anyway, the gravitational waves, they are ripples on space-time fabric, and as given in this picture, like when two black holes collide, the space-time fabric, that disturbance will travel as gravitational waves, right? So the merger of black holes, they were seen in news regarding the regarding the discovery of gravitational waves. The next question is regarding the apparent movement of the sun, and this was also predicted through our classroom session as well as through our test series. From the same topic, we are also having another previous question. Anyway, like on 21st June, the sun, right? So we need to find, different options were given here. We need to find out the position regarding the sun. So before going to the answer, let's take a look at the explanation. As given in this picture, as you can see here, like we are having the tilt of the earth, and during the summer solstice position, that is actually June 21st to 22nd, like the northern part of the tilt will be facing the sun, so that like the north and the light will be received directly overhead, like at Tropic of Cancer. The light from sun will be directly received at the Tropic of Cancer. So during this time, the northern pole, even if the earth is rotating, the northern pole as well as the region beyond Arctic Circle will be continuously receiving the light. Okay, so in Arctic Circle, like there will be 24 hours of daylight. The same time, during this summer solstice position, if you are looking at the southern hemisphere, light won't be reaching beyond the Antarctic Circle, right? So the Antarctic Circle will receive 24 hours of darkness, and the South Pole will be having 6 months without the sun, and the North Pole will be having 6 months of daylight, and the Arctic Circle will be having 24 hours of daylight, right? This condition would be reversed during the winter solstice, and which will be coming on say December 22nd. Anyway, let's take a look at the question again. On 21st, the sun does not set below the horizon at Arctic Circle, right? Let's read the other option. Does not set below the horizon at Antarctic Circle, right? So here the sun is on the northern hemisphere, so we won't be finding sun beyond the Arctic Circle. Here does not set below the horizon means throughout the daytime we'll be having sunlight, so the option B is actually wrong. Now option C, shines vertically overhead at noon on equator. This happens during the March as well as September, not during the June 21st. During June 21st, it will be directly overhead the Tropic of Cancer. The fourth one, shines vertically overhead at the Tropic of Capricorn. It's not Capricorn, rather it's Cancer. So here the answer comes out as A. Alright, the next question. Why are dewdrops not formed on cloudy night? Right, there was one another previous question regarding the cloudy night, which we discussed during our climatology sessions. It's given in module number 4. In fact, the answer for this question can be answered from the module number 4 the geography is like climatology module. Anyway, like there was this another previous question regarding the cloudy night. So during cloudy night, what happens is that the Earth's radiation will be reflected back towards the surface, right? The other term used is terrestrial radiation. So you must have observed that the cloudy nights are warmer, right? That was the other previous question which was asked. Like the question was like, why are the cloudy nights warmer than the cloudless night, right? It's because like the clouds reflect back the terrestrial radiation. Now we know that for dew drops to form, the temperature should be lowered, right? The dew drops are formed during the night or during the early morning, same as that the case of fog, right? So for this condensation to take place, so that like the condensation means the water vapor changing back to water, so that we are having dew drops or cloud formation or fog formations. So anyway, for this such condensation, the temperature should be lowered, right? So here the question is, why are the dew drops not formed on a cloudy night? So actually the reason is that during the cloudy nights, the temperature would be higher, right? Higher than the normal night, cloudless night. So going through the options, clouds absorb the radiation released from the Earth's surface, which is wrong. Clouds reflect back the Earth's radiation, which is actually correct. They reflect back the terrestrial radiation, thus the air temperature will be higher, that and the dew drops won't be able to form. The Earth's surface would have lower temperature on cloudy night, which is again wrong. Clouds deflect the winds blowing to the ground level, like in a logical statement. So here the answer is B. The next question is regarding the methane hydrate. It's a current affair topic. It appeared in news multiple times, not just during 2019 or 18, rather even during 2017 as well as 16, it appeared in news. Before it's a three-statement question. Before going to the statements, let's take a look at the explanation. A question which is very much related to methane hydrate was asked in our target prelims test series. The question is given here: the melting of Arctic permafrost has been a cause of concern. Why? The answer is it will result in the increase of methane concentration in the atmosphere, and the explanation for this question is also given here. So anyway, like now let's take a look at the methane hydrate. Methane hydrate means like they're trapped molecules of methane, right? Trapped molecules of methane, which is actually natural gas. So in the frozen form, inside this frozen water, we'll be having the trapped molecules of methane, right? And they will be found over 100 meters of thickness, below the ocean floor, or the things like Arctic permafrost, the beneath these regions. It's believed that we are having huge deposits of methane hydrate. This topic appears in news mainly under the in the context of combating or mitigating climate change. As a loop mechanism, due to climate change or due to global warming, the Arctic permafrost is melting, and this will release the methane gas, right? The methane hydrate trapped inside the Arctic permafrost, which in turn can cause to global warming, right? So global warming is resulting in melting, and melting of permafrost resulting in release of methane hydrate, which is in turn causing the climate change or global warming, right? So it appeared in news in this context. And if the methane hydrate is undergoing oxidation in the sense, if oxygen is added to it, right, the result would be carbon dioxide as well as water, right? So sufficient amount of oxygen, methane burns to give off carbon dioxide as well as oxygen, right? The oxidized form of methane, right, will be giving carbon dioxide as well as water. Now let's take a look at the question again. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the deposit of methane hydrate? Global warming might trigger the release of methane gas from these deposits, which are true. Global warming can result in melting, so that these methane hydrate will escape and released into the atmosphere. Large deposits of methane gas are found in Arctic tundra and under the sea floor, which is actually correct. Methane in atmosphere oxidizes to carbon dioxide after a decade or two. Carbon dioxide plus water will be there. Again, the third statement is also correct. The answer would be D. Now this question, it's a pair type of question. On one side we are having the glaciers given, and on the other side we are having rivers. So Bandra Panch is matched with Yamuna, right? Bandra Panch is located near to this Yamuna glacier, from which the Yamuna is originating. So Yamuna is having relation with the Bandra Panch glacier. So here the option 1 should be there in the correct answer. So we can eliminate C as well as D can be eliminated, right? So what left is 1, 2, 4 and 1, 3, 4, and from that we understood that the 4 is correct. So 1 as well as 4 is already correct, right? If 2 is correct, the answer would be A, and if 3 is correct, like the answer would be B. Now if you look at the Barasigiri, like it's near to, like, I mean, it's a largest glacier located in the state of Himachal Pradesh, and it feeds the Chenab river. So here the Chenab is matched correctly with Barasigiri. So like the correct answer here would be option A. The next question, another pair type of question. On one side we are having the seas, and we are having right side we are having the bordering country, right? So the different seas given here: Adriatic Sea, Black Sea, Caspian, Mediterranean, Red Sea. So here one very important detail, right? We always discuss Red Sea and Syria, right? Syria is not having border with that of Red Sea. So in this picture we can see the West Asian region and the Black Sea, Caspian Sea, Mediterranean, as well as Red Sea, right? So Red Sea through the Gulf of Aqaba is having a border with that of like the Jordan, not that of Syria, right? Syria is having a border on only on Mediterranean Sea, not on the Red Sea. This is the trivial knowledge we need to know this, know about this region, and there are multiple questions regarding this region, right? The Mediterranean region, which was asked as previous questions. Looking at the Kazakhstan, the Caspian Sea, Kazakhstan is open to the Caspian Sea. Same way Russia is open to the Caspian Sea, right? Now we'll take a look at the question again. So as I said, Red Sea is here matched with Syria, which is wrong. Straight away we can eliminate two options. C can be eliminated as well as D can be eliminated, right? Because both of them are having 5 in it. Okay. Now what left is 1, 2, 4 and 1, 3, 4. From that itself we understood that the fourth one is correct. The answer depends on the second statement, right? If Black Sea, Croatia, and like Caspian Sea, Kazakhstan. Since the third is correct, the Caspian Sea, we have already seen in the picture, Caspian Sea, Kazakhstan is having a border with that of Caspian Sea. So here the answer comes out as B1, 3 and 4. The next question is regarding the minor minerals in India. There are 3 statements given here. First we will take a look at the explanation. So first of all, the minor minerals, they mean like the building stones, like the gravel, ordinary clay, ordinary sand, other than sand used for prescribed purposes, right? So basically they mean, the minor minerals means the the things which are used for the building purposes, right? The construction and related activities. And this was a current affair related topic, like not, as I said earlier, like not the recent one, like in 2017 as well as 18. And regarding this, there was some legislation related with this. So under the current legal system, like the power to frame policy and legislation relating to minor minerals is entirely delegated to the state government, right? This is taken from like in a government website itself, and the paragraph here given here is taken from the government website itself. Thus the regulatory as well as the administrative jurisdiction of minor minerals falls under the purview of state government. It's given here like what they can do: the power to frame rules, prescribe rate of royalty, contribution to the district mineral foundation, the procedure for grant and mineral concession, regulation of their mining, control of illegal mining. So these are the details taken from the government website itself. We'll again take a look at the previous question. So the first statement, sand is a minor mineral according to the prevailing law in country, which is correct. We have seen earlier the constructing stones or this related materials like sand, etc. They are regarded as minor minerals. The second one, if we know that the first statement is correct, the C can be eliminated as well as D can be eliminated, right? So C as well as B can be eliminated, right? So answer cannot be C or B, because one has to be there. So from that we understood that the third statement is correct, right? It's there in both. State government have the power to frame to prevent illegal mining of minerals, minor minerals, right? Again, it depends on the second statement. Now the state government have the power to grant mining leases of minor minerals, which is true, but the powers regarding the formation of rules related to the grant of minor minerals lie with the central government. We have seen earlier like the power to frame rules is related with the state government itself. So this second part of the statement where it is given here central government, so because of this reason the second statement is wrong. So that so that the answer comes out as like A, which is 1 and 3, right? The second statement is wrong. Answer is actually 1 and 3. The next question is regarding the domestication of plants from New World. Which of the following group of plants was domesticated in New World and introduced into the Old World? Right, so this is a colloquial usage of the words like the New World means like the North American as well as the South American continents, and the Old World relatively means Africa, Europe, like the rest of the world, right? The Asia, Europe, and those parts, right? So here, there were certain crops as well as plants, and there were food items like which are native to these Old World and New World during the era of trade and all. The domestication was introduced into the it was actually complementary, right? From New World, the things were transferred to the Old, and from Old to the New, right? So there are few crops given here. We need to find out which of the crops were actually domesticated in New World and was introduced into the Old World. So means that from America to the other worlds, right? So here the answer comes out as A, which is tobacco, coca, as well as rubber, right? So these things were actually indigenous to the the America's continent and later were introduced into the Old World. So here the answer comes out as A. Rubber was was first found in Mesoamerica, then cocoa in the Amazon basin, and tobacco in Mesoamerica as well as in the Western American regions. Okay, so here the answer comes out as A. The next question, it's a current affair based question regarding the cirrus cloud thinning technique. So it appeared in news regarding the climate change during 2017. Almost most of the current affair questions they came during this prelims examination was not just the current affair of 18 or 19, especially regarding the geography questions. If you look at the topics, they were in news earlier also, right? So earlier in some of other question we have discussed the case of terrestrial radiation, right? During cloudy night they are warmer because the clouds reflect back the terrestrial radiation. Same concept, if we can thin these clouds, right? If we can reduce the formation of these cirrus clouds, actually the high altitude cirrus clouds result in this reflecting back of Earth's radiation, right? So these clouds, if they can be thinned, what happens is that the terrestrial radiation will escape the Earth's surface, reducing the global warming, right? So in the context of which of the following do some scientists suggest the use of cirrus cloud thinning technique and the injection of sulfate aerosols into the stratosphere? So here the answer comes out as D, reducing the global warming. The ability of stratospheric sulfate clouds to create a global dimming effect has been made possible candidate for use in solar reduction management climate engineering projects to limit the effect and impact of climate change due to rising levels of greenhouse gases. So here, especially the cirrus cloud thinning appeared in news. It's related with the reducing the global warming. Next question is regarding the national parks that lie completely in temperate alpine zone. So here the literal meaning of this word temperate means say from 23.5 degree north and south latitude to till the Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle respectively. These regions are called as temperate regions, right, or the mid latitude regions. Now alpine, it denotes altitude, right? So if in this picture you can see a mountain range. So in the mountain range, we'll be having vegetation, different types of vegetation would be there depending on the altitude. So on this level right here in the alpine region, the vegetation would be less. As we go upper regions, we'll be having say the ice covered region. It's much like the various climatic regions distributed throughout the world on the surface. On the northern pole and southern pole, we are having ice cap climate where we are not having much vegetation. Then in the Siberian tundra and those regions, we are having lichens and mosses, right? And the same way, the alpine is a zone which is actually related with, in a mountain we'll be having different sections of vegetation, and one such zone is called as alpine, and it's related with the altitude somewhere between say 2500 to 300 meters of height is seen as the alpine zone. So the question here is, which of the following national park completely, right, it was given in italics in your question paper, give parks completely in temperate alpine zone. This is a key word here, right? So all the national park given here except that of Manas is having like the temperate alpine zone, but they are not all of them are completely within the temperate alpine zone. So obviously we can eliminate the Manas, which is having like an altitude of 110 meters. Then we are having Nandapa National Park, which is having an elevation from 200 to that of 4,500 meters. So some of these regions are actually like the temperate alpine zone, but not completely, right? So this B cannot be the answer. Now the third one, Neora Valley National Park, the West Bengal, the altitude is from 183 till 3,200 meters. The same logic as that of the second option. C cannot be the answer because it's not completely within the temperate alpine zone. So here the answer comes out as Valley of Flowers National Park, which is located in Uttarakhand, and it's having an elevation starting from say 3,300 to 3,600 meters above the mean sea level. So here the national park, which completely lies in the temperate alpine zone, the answer comes out as D, which is Valley of Flowers National Park. The next question is regarding the environment as well as agriculture. So agriculture soils release nitrogen oxides into environment. A similar statement was discussed in our classroom sections when we were solving the previous questions. So like the agriculture, the usage of fertilizers, nitrogen based fertilizers released nitrogen oxides into environment. The first statement is correct. There itself we can eliminate the option C as well as B, and we understood that the option option 3 is correct, right? Poultry industry releases reactive nitrogen compounds into environment, which is correct. The second statement, the cattle release ammonia into environment, which is actually true, especially when the manure and the urine of cattle mixes together, they create the ammonia, and it is also acting as like contributing to greenhouse gas emissions as well as contributing to the ammonia, releasing ammonia into environment. So here the answer comes out as D, which is 1, 2 and 3. The next question, what is common to the places known as Aliyar, Isapur, Kangsapati, right? So all the places like they are related with the water reservoirs, right? We are having the dams in these regions as well as river in West Bengal, right? Kangsapati river. So the answer here comes out as D, which is water reservoirs. The next question is regarding coal. Coal sector was nationalized by the government of India under Indira Gandhi, which was correct. So there itself the C as well as B can be eliminated, and it should either be D or it should be A, right? If one of the second and third statement is correct, answer would be D, otherwise the answer would be A. So now coal blocks are allotted on lottery basis. Lottery basis, like it's an illogical statement and you can eliminate it straight away. The third one, till recently India imported coal to meet these shortages of domestic supply. But now India is self-sufficient in coal production, which is actually wrong, right? Even in the last year, we are having large amount of import of coal. Even though we are having like enough resources of coal, we are not able to make our thermal power plants work at their complete capability. So in order to meet the need of these thermal power plants, we are importing the coal from the other countries, and that's very bad for our economy, and it appeared in multiple times in news. It's one of the major issues regarding the coal sector. If you are prepared for mains, certain topics, you'll come across this. It's a very important issue in our coal sector. We need to reduce our imports, right? So the recent policies are actually aligned in direction so that we can reduce the import of the coal, and we can depend more on the domestic supply of coal. So anyway, the third statement is wrong. Here the answer is A. Next question is regarding remote sensing data, right? This again is a current affair based question related with climate change, which appears in news multiple times in different sources. Single most important concept, right? So recently the agreements like Paris Agreement and the related COPs were in news, and one of the major discussions in this Paris Agreement is that how to measure the emission of other nations. So suppose if someone is saying that we are reducing the greenhouse gas emissions, and how is it possible for the other nations to believe each other, right? So this means that the emission should be measurable and reportable, right? And the other nation has to review their emission report too. In this context, they were saying, now we are moving on to remote sensing the greenhouse gas emissions from the surface itself, right? So from the greenhouse gas emissions from the surface can be understood from the based on satellite. So in this context, various satellites appeared in news, like already we are having few satellites like the orbiting carbon observatory of US, and like European agencies observatory is also there, as well as China and Japan is also having such remote sensing technologies. Notably, India is not having such technologies as of now. But anyway, like it appeared in news, and we had also asked a question regarding the monitoring satellites in one of the TPS questions, but not the statements were not asked in the question. Rather, the monitoring satellite, the names were asked in our question. Anyway, like let's move on to the question. Like the first statement, chlorophyll content in the vegetation can be measured using the satellites, right, from a specific location, which is actually correct, right? The photochemical reflective index is measured using the satellite images and remote sensing data, and we can identify the chlorophyll content in the vegetation. Now, greenhouse gas emission from rice paddies of a specific location, which is again correct, using the geostationary satellites, means that it will be fixed over one particular location, and it can collect the land surface temperature as well as like greenhouse gas emissions from specific locations. So here the answer comes out as D, which is 1, 2 and 3. So these were the questions asked for 2019 prelims examination. Clearly they are following a trend, like in some other strategy videos we have discussed that we need to prepare questions based on the current affair, right? The current affair won't be asked directly, but they will be interrelated with the conventional topic and questions will be asked. So this year also the same trend is being followed by UPSC. A few questions were related with the convention syllabus, but we should be like focusing more on current affair and how these current affair topics which appears in news, how they are related with the conventional topics. For example, this last question, like related with the remote sensing, related with climate change, it appeared in news, but see the question that came from the topic. So we should be expecting more questions. So if you're preparing for, anybody who is watching this and preparing for the next year examination should keep in mind the current affairs are also important, and the conventional and the current affair topic has to be interrelated and studied, because that we will be getting like such related questions would be there. For more clarity or detailed discussion regarding any of the questions, please comment below this video, and please post also your analysis regarding the prelims and your marks which you are expecting for this prelims exam.